Since the real Charlie Kirk, the man behind the media caricature, is far more significant, no one wants the exaggerated Charlie image to survive the real person. He was once described by the media as a witty young orator who was well known for his ferocious college arguments. However, that was only the beginning. There is obviously more to it than meets the eye, especially in light of the Lance Twiggs disclosures and the surprise indictment. A layer of mystery is concealed in plain view. Charlie Kirk's wife is at the heart of it all. Once viewed as a representation of loss, the woman is now the storm's center. She is more than just a widow in mourning. She has emerged as a crucial component in a narrative that is taking an unexpected turn. The internet blew up as suspicions replaced rumors. There were many comments, analyses, and discussions. Then came Candace Owens, to ignite, not only remark. Every word she said was a spark that made others listen, think, and doubt. The tale took a different turn after that. Charlie Kirk's fate was no longer the focus. Instead, it was about the individual who'd always been there for him, regardless of the things she might be hiding. Was the treachery there, grinning next to him, going unseen until it was too late? However, we must first return to that fateful night. The night Charlie Kirk vanished from the world, before we can confront the tempest that is Candace Owens' spotlight. Because the subsequent events were neither chaotic nor random. Everything appeared to have been planned. All of the clues, signs, and silences pointed to the individuals Charlie had most trusted. September 10th, 2015. Charlie was at the height of his powers during a contentious argument at Utah Valley University. TikTok and X were overflowing with live videos, and the theater was roaring. The level of security was low. Only his own squad, a couple of cops, and a couple of Planelo officers. The sky was clear. It was an open stage. No particular defense. Then, amidst the applauding audience, an unforeseen event occurred. For a few seconds, everything ceased. Then there was anarchy. People let out a shout. They fled for safety. People reached for their phones to capture the unfathomable event. Millions were shocked as Charlie Kirk vanished from the light in an instant. The video became viral. That night turned into the greatest mystery in social media history, affecting every platform in Utah Valley High School. The night became a chronicle of fever. The hospital declared Charlie deceased at 12:47. Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old electrical engineering student from St. George, Utah, who dropped out of Utah State University, was identified as the suspect. After being convinced by his family and a relative, he turned himself in 33 hours later in Provo. Investigators revealed the proof. Near the school's neighboring woods, a Mauser 98 with a family issue scope was discovered wrapped in a towel. Tyler's DNA was found on the trigger. Charlie was the target of several messages, ranging from boasting to previous messages to bullet casings with meme symbols. Charlie had a chance to be stopped, and I will. Following the incident, there were additional messages expressing residual animosity. Discord posts and content implied that Charlie's hostility toward the LGBTQ+ community radicalized him. At first, the FBI said the incident was a one-man show with no accomplices. Tyler was charged with many offenses on September 16th. Felony accusations of obstruction, child endangerment, weapons charges, and causing death, which carries a severe penalty. The intriguing part of the narrative, however, doesn't stop there. Numerous individuals have observed that Tyler seems to possess comprehensive knowledge on Charlie's precise schedule, event setup, and even his intended escape path. Conspiracy theories have been refuted by prosecutors, who have emphasized that the public sites and X-posts are open and transparent. However, the query still stands. How was such specific information obtained by someone like Tyler? There was something strange about Tyler in the video. Just a pleasant serenity, no rush, no panic. He moved as if he had practiced. Charlie's old ally, Candace Owens, stated in the podcast that it would have been impossible for a young child without training to act thus naturally on their own. She claimed that this was not an isolated incident. She questioned, why wasn't there a surveillance plane? Why wasn't there somebody guarding the rooftop area? It looked like a planned scenario. Jeff Long, the police chief at UVU, acknowledged that the planning was not perfect. Additionally, there were suspicions that something was missing due to the sealed ballistics report. 6 days later, the indictment was delivered so swiftly that many people were left in suspense. 7 significant charges with a plethora of text messages, DNA information, lab results, testimony, and other supporting documentation. While Tyler's mother claimed her son lost control after becoming fixated on Charlie, prosecutors maintained Tyler acted alone and got radicalized online. Governor Spencer Cox described the FBI's decision to end its investigation and revoke its prize as a serious case of radicalization. However, there are still gaps in the narrative, which continue to raise concerns among the public. Instead of the vintage Mauser model that police disclosed, witnesses at the site reported seeing a contemporary rifle. According to information from a leaked internal memo, the evidence images were grainy, and several had been destroyed during transmission. Tyler was not caught on video on the roof. Candace Owens described it as a mysterious power failure, while the FBI clarified that it was a blind spot in the system. Tyler has mostly vanished from the media since then. There won't be any remarks or interviews. Just a quick hearing is planned for October 30th. Defense lawyers said little but alluded to important conclusions. Tyler, according to Candace, was really a pawn. Its true creators are still out there. Additionally, Charlie's widow, Erica Kirk, Seb Maddow, the current CEO of Hours after the tragedy, TPUSA, quietly faced the camera as she arrived at the hospital with her 2 kids. She spoke in a calm, steady voice. Charlie has found his savior after fighting for his beliefs. She raised her head at the Kennedy Center vigil, expressed gratitude to the rescuers, and promised to carry on her husband's work. Although it was a strong image, many people thought it was odd. No sobs, no trembling, simply flawless poise. Her social media profiles, which were previously replete with pictures of her family and joyful occasions, abruptly stopped posting. Next, her first post since Charlie's passing appeared out of nowhere. "You're not aware of the fire you stoked inside this woman." The globe was rocked by the words. 2 million shares, a surge of hashtags that Erica is familiar with, and Kirk's deception. Bravery or caution? Nobody is certain anymore. In Arizona, neighbors started sharing tales that no one had before dared to share. They remembered arguments from the Kirk's mansion in the middle of the night. Money, and a lot of it. According to one, the TPUSA fund gave them millions of dollars. Tensions among the family appeared to be very strong. A person close to the family claimed that Charlie's parents had severed their communication with Erica because they believed her suffering was planned. According to some TPUSA members, Erica was only shielding her kids from the media frenzy. Others, however, acknowledged that her silence over her own marriage was what most surprised them. No recollections, sharing, or little tales that ladies frequently share about their spouses. She talked about Charlie's passion for America, faith, and political allies like J.D. Vance throughout her speech at the memorial service at State Farm Stadium, but she never once mentioned them or their love. The internet was incensed. Instead, she's reading a script. "I'm in mourning," someone wrote. Erica Kirk went on to represent contradiction. Powerful, serene, yet enigmatic. Then came the human-shaped maelstrom that was Candace Owens. Candace was once the director of urban engagement for TPUSA, was dropped from Twins because to her radical opinions. But when she came back in 25, she was a podcast star with the 2nd highest program on Spotify worldwide, right behind Charlie. Candace's grief wasn't limited to Charlie. She shed tears as she began the fight. She released a collage of behind-the-scenes photos of the 2 smiling, working and dreaming about major projects. Charlie wasn't the arrogant jerk people thought he was. He was warm, funny, and honest to the core, she added in the podcast. Spotlights, no editing, just the unadulterated truth. The image garnered over 3 million views, unleashing a wave of authentic Charlie Kirk that moved fans and silenced doubters. However, Candace didn't stop there. During an Instagram live, she sobbed and said, "The official story doesn't add up. The FBI was too fast to draw conclusions. And someone knew about the blind spot, so this wasn't just a youngster acting alone." Then she broke the news to the media. The person sleeping next to Charlie betrayed him. Without naming names, the internet went crazy, generating a ton of speculations and thousands of videos, examining every smile and every look that Erica made during the funeral. Regardless of your stance, the storm has been building, and Erica Kirk is once again at the center of it. The timeline was flooded with the hashtags Erica knows Erica betrayal, Candace truth. Some who supported Candace said she dared to speak for the dead, while others referred to it as dangerous clickbait. A TikTok video that was carefully edited and went viral featured Candace Owens' voice put into Erica Kirk's prayer speech. generating a dramatic effect. This is because, in a time when every second of attention can affect perceptions, a strong person's silence can sometimes resonate more than a confession. "My pain is my strength," Erica states in the video. "I will not allow lies to bury the real Charlie." Candace's voice is superimposed. The video received 5 million views in a single day, making the two ladies one in the subsequent episode of her podcast. Candace identifies a specific individual, Bill Amann, a billionaire with extensive connections in politics and the media, and asserts that Amann put pressure on Charlie. Candace claims that when he asked him to soften his harsh remarks on Israel during a private meeting in the Hamptons, Charlie started to feel under pressure. Billman responded almost quickly, posting private messages between him and Charlie on X, the previous Twitter, professing friendship and respect. But for Candace, each denial simply made her conviction stronger. "If you're truly innocent, you don't have to prove it," she said in a follow-up video. "There were no threats, just banter between friends," he wrote. When Netanyahu was brought into the story, after the Israeli Prime Minister denied any involvement, Candace became even more certain that she was touching on a very delicate subject. She then turned to Lance Twiggs, Tyler's ex-boyfriend and the case's suspect, who was transgender and had admitted to police that Tyler was obsessed with. Candace believed the statement was too clean to be real. Why is Twiggs silent? Why is Tyler out of the public eye? Who told them to stop talking? Candace's questions set social media on fire. Charlie, but had no proof of a conspiracy, ablaze. However, Candace simply sat there, watching live, her eyes blazing, when Erica failed to appear at the September 20th memorial. That day, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Vivek Ramaswamy all spoke on stage, but no one heard what Candace had to say. In the meantime, TPUSA insiders whispered that Erica's opinions were too dangerous and may have caused a rupture in their relationship, and that Charlie and Erica had long since drifted apart. Pastor Rob McCoy concurred with Erica, claiming that Charlie didn't want this battle. Laura Loomer, however, branded Candace and "never let anyone stop you from asking questions," she shot back, despite being an attention-seeking crazy. In the meantime, the Charlie Kirk remembrance at State Farm Stadium, which was supposed to bring people together, turned into a place of division. Tucker Carlson, in his remembrance, half of the crowd was silent, while the other half were murmuring on social media. The address referred to Charlie as a warrior of religion, but it finished with the frightening statement, "Some truths will die with him." With terms like Kirk cosplay and race for legacy spreading, X rapidly became into a conspiracy theory environment, forcing Andrew Kovic, Tipusi's interim Huid, to speak up. This isn't just a power vacuum. It's a faith vacuum as well, because prayers are being remixed, and the truth appears to be eroding as Charlie Kirk's name is transformed into a symbol of power. What started as a disagreement has now grown into a public schism, with two opposing groups emerging on social media and in conservative circles. Those who support Erica Kirk, the Kirk family, once regarded as a symbol of faith and solidarity, is no longer on the same side. Charlie's parents won't go to any events that Erica hosts, and a close family friend says they feel that the tenacious widow and new CEO of TPSA and the Truth Seekers, led by Candace Owens, don't think Charlie died that way. Excluded, and they criticize Erica's financial management once she succeeded her husband. There are rumors that millions of dollars in TPUSA funds are no longer being accounted for. Candace, in her typical manner, makes reference to the missing cash but provides no explanation. Concrete proof. The idea alone ignited the internet, prompting prominent pundits to urge composure. Glenn Beck said, "Unity, not doubt, is what Charlie wants most right now." However, lesser podcasters who were keen to get their opinions heard took Candace's side. The more people opposed Candace, the more her fans believed her. Then, as if to fuel the flames, they aired episodes with alarming titles. What TPUSA doesn't want you to know, or the lady behind the chair of power, when asked about the event in a regular podcast. He answered simply, "In broad daylight in front of hundreds of people, and no one saw what anyone did." He is well known for avoiding the political noise. It is strange. That was it. In less than 3 hours, the hashtag Utah Cover-Up became viral on social media, generating comments from fans, independent journalists, and even politicians. A straightforward inquiry became a flurry of coverage, with millions of people speculating that something was. Candace took advantage of a lapse in the official narrative by releasing a new video titled, "Let's Talk About the Real Charlie Kirk." Her voice was low and sluggish. It wasn't the stereotypical brazen debater that the media has portrayed, but she talked about Charlie out of the spotlight, funny, kind, and unyieldingly loyal. She said that he could laugh even under the most extreme strain. Charlie was the man who started TPUSA from the ground up at the age of 18, a college dropout, and dared to question a system that no one else dared to touch. That's the man they're trying to remove from your mind, Candace replied, her voice still trembling but tears running down her cheeks. Someone who would sit for hours merely to guide a young student who was hesitant about his convictions. She shared a photo collage of Charlie and in the early days of TPUSA. She was photographed backstage grinning and taking tactical notes with a pen. The picture was authentic, unaltered, and without stage lighting. In just 12 hours, it received over 6 million views and dozens of heartfelt comments from those who had really met Charlie. Someone said, "I remember him coming to our school in 2018. He didn't just give a speech. He prayed with us." Another added, "Charlie stopped to take pictures with every single fan." No matter who, that was him. The comments triggered a flood of recollections. Hundreds of people posted old messages, videos, and pictures. As Candace herself put it, they can control the narrative, but they can't control the memories. She believed that her battle was the real Charlie, was to preserve the genuine image of Charlie, the man she had known and trusted, not to be hostile to Erica. However, the story was no longer viewed by the public as straightforward. Candace's words caused additional division among the populace. Was she battling for justice? Or was she merely utilizing suffering to bolster her own authority? Erica said nothing, no matter what the response was. No comment, no answer. However, that quiet only made everything worse. Candace said something terrifying to close up her remarks. "If you are aware of Charlie's fearlessness, if you have ever met him, justice, in his opinion, never rests in silence." Charlie is shown grinning broadly in black and white as the video comes to a close, with a soft piano playing in the background. There is a brief pause in social media activity before blowing up once more. The real Charlie Kirk ascends to the top of the global rankings. This is no longer just an incident in the plot. It has turned into a conflict between authority and memory, between the public and the real individuals. Additionally, in the middle of that storm once more, the person at the microphone is Candace Owens. The icy, controlled, and apparently premeditated tributes given by Erica Kirk stood in sharp contrast to Candace Owens' tearful broadcasts. She discussed Charlie's mission, her faith, America, and the spirit of the America movement during her remarks at a memorial gathering. However, she didn't mention Charlie, the man, the parent, the partner, not even a single detail about their life together. Nor did she share any personal experiences or tales. It was immediately apparent to viewers. It was summed up in a single sentence in a viral post on X that caused the online community to blow up. Candace revealed us the true Charlie individual. Erica introduced us to the brand, Charlie. The people was divided by that sentence, which was like a cut. Erica, the embodiment of grace, poise, and strength, was on one side. Candace, a blaze of disobedience and passion and unafraidness. American conservatives are engaged in an underground conflict over these two diametrically opposed images. Everyone realizes by October 142 that this is not a story about a single incident anymore. It has turned into a battle for the truth. Candace Owens encourages people to ask questions all the time through her personal podcast, X and TikTok Digital Army. Who instructed Tyler? Why do security systems have blind spots? And why does Erica Kirk seem so composed? Every query is modified, remixed, and becomes viral. Recently, one of Candace's live feeds became viral. This outcome was pre-planned. "It was all part of the plan," she said, slamming her fist against the table and staring directly into the camera. Tyler was just a pawn in a larger plot. The remark went viral online, with videos examining every phrase, eye expression, and hand gesture given by Erica at the press interviews. Even those who had accused Candace of conspiracy theories started to nod, acknowledging that something was off. But the FBI said nothing more about the security camera system's flaws or the autopsy results, which had been kept under wraps from the beginning. Dispelling suspicions only served to increase doubt. In the meantime, Erica Kirk kept going forward without arguing or responding. In the middle of all of this suffering, the name Charlie Kirk remains, not as a fictional figure, but as an unsolved mystery. Erica Kirk's speech might have been practiced. A viral post sent shockwaves through social media. Family tensions rapidly surfaced after her tweet, "My fire burns brighter," was viewed as more self-aggrandizing than mourning. Her in-laws talked about money, and Candace Owens took advantage of the situation by making a reference to the dubious books of TPUSA. Charlie's parents avoided Erica. The official narrative was that Tyler, a lone guy, acted alone. Texts, data, and technical evidence all matched, but blind spots, missing footage, and Erica's silence raised suspicions. The internet went crazy, but there was no proof. Candace's theory concerning a man was unsupported. Aman and Charlie exchanged cordial texts. Charlie had tempered his tone regarding 24 politics, but not his own. Erica is said to be the mastermind. Tyler is viewed as a pawn despite the fact that no charges have been brought against him. And the truth may be more complex. Charlie's exit revealed a movement that relied on his charisma. After his departure, power started to shift. Erica took charge, Candace attacked, and supporters were split. Everybody is a detective, but nobody knows the complete story. The hearing on October 30th will be a turning moment. Candace will not stop. Erica will not fall. X and TikTok turned anguish into a storm. TPUSA is in disarray. Kirk's family is split. America observes a stumbling movement. Is Candace looking for the truth, or is she consumed by her own rage? Erica's composure. Is Tyler a lone person or a mask? A pawn in a bigger game? Tell us what you think. Justice for Charlie. This is the start of a reckoning, not its conclusion. Like, share, and subscribe because the truth is still awaiting revelation.